Today we are going to talk about the top 10 movie moments that give me chills. You know that feeling when you have a knot in your throat and you might shed a tear? This is going to be an ongoing series on the channel where we're going through moments in movies in every genre, and today we're starting with action scenes. Welcome back to The Collective Appreciation. I'm your host, Gunnar Anderson. I am a screenwriter, actor, producer, and published author living and working in Los Angeles, California. I'm also a certified personal trainer, and I'm a big action figure collector, a really big nerd, and I wear that badge proudly. And those three things, the movie business, fitness and exercise, and action figure collecting, they make up what I call my collective appreciation. So if you're into any of those three things, or if you're like me and you love all three, consider subscribing. It's all we talk about. To me, the best action scenes aren't necessarily about the choreography or what's happening in the action scenes. To me, it's rather the build-up throughout the movie leading to said action scene. It really matters where the character is in the story as to how an action sequence affects me. Otherwise, it can just be like boom, boom, pow, pow, shoot 'em up, bang, bang. If we open on an action scene, say any James Bond movie, let's take Casino Royale. It's an incredible action sequence. But given that we've just been introduced to this James Bond and we don't really know where he is on his emotional journey, his character arc of the movie, it's just a lot of noise. It's really cool noise. It's badass choreography. It's amazing stunt work. But it's hard for me to really, care. Typically, they just seem like they're already on top, and that doesn't hit me as hard. These scenes that I've selected are all at pivotal points in the plot, either where a character is a really low point, or perhaps they've just mastered a new skill and they're up-leveling. They're coming into their own. That always gets me too. Always a moment where the character is able to defy the odds and come out on top. It gets me every time, if it's done right. Now let's dive in. The Battle of Helm's Deep, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. The entire sequence is incredible, okay? It's intricate filmmaking on display here, whether it's the set or the miniatures or the extras or the makeup or the choreography. It's just all jaw-dropping. But when Gandalf arrives at the top of the hill, my God, cue the knot in my throat. It's just classic good triumphing over evil, and it is spectacular to watch. It's so epic. It's the best moment in the entire franchise to me. The train sequence from Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 is still my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time, and this is my favorite Spider-Man action sequence of all time. Earlier, Peter Parker gave up being Spider-Man, but Doc Ock has just kidnapped Mary Jane. Suddenly, Peter's powers return, and that's when he fully embraces who he is. And it is intense. You've got them fighting on top of the train. You've got them fighting on the side of the train. You've got Spider-Man diving through a bridge. You've got Spider-Man being thrown off the train and gliding through traffic to get back onto the train. Then Doc Ock starts throwing people off, and Spider-Man has to deal with that. It's just stacking layer on layer, obstacle on obstacle, hammering stake after stake after stake, raising stake after stake after stake. It's just great storytelling. Every move Doc Ock makes raises the stakes. It makes it harder and harder and harder for Spider-Man to come out on top. Not only to catch the bad guy and rescue Mary Jane, but now you've got a train full of hundreds of people to worry about. And right after he stops the train, you see the people realizing he's just a kid trying to do the right thing. And the kids give him his mask back. And of course, you've got that classic post 9/11, you mess with one New Yorker, you mess with all of us. Today, people might say it's cheesy. I say it's sincere, and I think we could use more moments like this in movies that come out today. I'm always angry. The Avengers. This is a big one. The Avengers isn't my favorite Marvel movie, but I'd say it's the one that I still have the most fun with when I give it a rewatch. I'd also say it's the most important Marvel movie, because if this didn't work, none of it would. So when Loki first shows up in New York in the third act, and he has this huge army behind him, I remember sitting in the theater thinking, there's no way. There's just no way. There's no way the Avengers, this ragtag group of heroes that can't get along, is going to stop this threat. And the thing is just too much. You got two humans, one superhuman, a man in armor, a demigod, and yeah, it's all very cool, but they don't stand a chance. And I just remember the verisimilitude of the movie. Not that there's much in the Avengers, but whatever there was, just kind of, it was gone. It was gone. I I know I'm watching like space gods and like monsters come out of a portal into New York City, but whatever belief that I had was just out the door. I was like, this is just too much. I remember thinking they were going to use some silly comic book logic to like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what was going to happen. But I wasn't really, I was kind of like, oh, this is like a bad third act. Then Bruce Banner shows up on a scooter. And we get my favorite line in the MCU. He looks over his shoulder and he says, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry." And then he hulks out and he punches the Leviathan in the face. Dude, I remember seeing that. I remember feeling that. And I remember I was probably 19 or 20 when the Avengers came out. And I remember feeling the little child inside of me just like, yeah. And it was just like this crazy sensation of like not only belief restored, but optimism that holy shit, the Avengers is actually going to work. Not like from a story standpoint, but like as a wild idea for a movie back in 2012, before this was common, it is going to work. And like, what a way to showcase the Hulk. It's never been done before that like that, and it's certainly never been done after. This is the best use of the Hulk I've ever seen on screen. And not only that, but immediately after this moment where he punches the Leviathan, you have the iconic circular pan around shot of the Avengers. And you have to remember, I can't stress this enough, this is the first time. This is the first time you're seeing the Avengers together, all in the same shot for the first time. It was amazing. And if that shot didn't work, the MCU wouldn't work. Back up from Batman Begins. So Batman Begins isn't my favorite Batman movie, but it's got my favorite Batman moment inside of it. Nolan builds this moment by really, really, perhaps even overly so, hammering home that Bruce Wayne's worst fear is bats. And in this movie, the bats represent some sort of like lingering guilt that he has over his parents' death. And so when he stands up in the cave among them and becomes like one with them, it's very cool. But when he weaponizes them, it's amazing. And yes, this comes straight from the Year One comic, but you're here in the asylum. You got Batman trapped by the police. He's surrounded by SWAT team officers with kill orders. Rachel is dying from Scarecrow's poison, and there's no way out of Arkham. So he calls backup. It's incredible. It's incredible. Hans Zimmer's score kicks in. You hear Batman is just waiting so patiently while the police are completely swarmed and completely terrified by the thing that once terrified him. Any moment where a character can conquer their fears and use it in a way like this, it's going to get me, like right here. The final shootout, The Matrix. As usual, we're starting with the characters at their lowest point. Their teammate has betrayed them. Their leader has been kidnapped. Their friends have been killed, and they have one shot to rescue Morpheus. This scene, man, this whole movie, The Matrix is one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. I think it's just perfect. And this scene, I mean, if you haven't watched it in a while, go give it a watch. It's incredible, especially today. It's shockingly, terrifyingly relevant today. But this scene, you have to remember, in 1999, nobody had seen anything like this. This was cutting edge. It was insane. Nobody had conceived an action sequence like this. But Neo and Trinity walking into this lobby in their, it's like if you see somebody in the street wearing what they're wearing, it's not cool. It's not a good look. But man, they look cool. Wow, they look incredible. And they start using this insane gung fu that's just eye-popping. I mean, the sound design, the music, the choreography, the explosions, the entire set just gets beat to hell. It's so clever. It's so funny. It's so badass. And of course, it culminates on the roof with bullet time. And I would argue, action scenes have not been the same since this scene. The Rock Shop, RoboCop. So just before this scene starts, Robo hasn't quite remembered who he is, but he knows he was someone, and he knows he was murdered, and he knows who did it, and he knows these people are inside. It's the first time we see him as the machine thinking for himself and going out on his own behalf to solve his own murder. Even if he doesn't remember everything, he knows that much, and that means everything to him. Everything. Because since he was reborn, everything has been basically a lie. No one has told him anything about who he was used to be. He wasn't supposed to retain any of these memories. This is the first time he's stepping into his humanity again. And it comes right after seeing that incredibly emotional scene where he goes to his old house and he sees little remnants of the life that he left behind that was taken from him so cruelly, so abruptly. It's a great revenge moment, but it's also just so goddamn cool. The behind the scenes on this scene is it's just insanity. I highly, highly, highly recommend looking up the behind the scenes videos of this because it's truly insane. Peter Weller is doing the Lord's work in this sequence. And there's so much, just look it up, But we're in this massive cocaine warehouse where Kurtwood Smith, Clarence Boddicker, and his goons are hiding out. And it's just Paul Verhoeven using his view of American 80s excess, and you have the score swelling. It's glorious. And it's all cool, and it's all awesome, and there's like big booms and pows, and RoboCop is virtually indestructible in this sequence, and he kills so many people, and there's so much blood, and the effects work is just so over the top because it's Paul Verhoeven. All of that's well and good, but then you get the confrontation between RoboCop and Clarence Boddicker. RoboCop throwing Clarence through sheets of glass while reading him his Miranda rights it's so badass, but it's so emotional too. It's so emotional. He knows what this person did to him. He doesn't know who he is, but he knows what this person took from him. And he's about to take it back. But he manages to hold on to his humanity by just a bit and spare his life because he's a good cop and he always has been. And this machine that he's been outfitted with and turned into, this Frankenstein monster, doesn't get to take that from him. He's still a good man. It's such a powerful moment. Welcome to the party, pal. Die Hard. I was going to use the rooftop jump scene, but I feel like so many people have talked about that at this point. So let's set the stage. John McClane just saw the first hostage shot. He now knows these terrorists are not screwing around. They mean business. And it's his first confrontation with multiple of the terrorists at once. So he has this big shootout. And meanwhile, his emergency call led one meandering cop to showing up, the great Sergeant Al Powell. Powell doesn't see anything wrong, and he's about to leave. But upstairs, John is fighting for his life. You have that great sequence where he's sliding under the table, and the guy's like, I don't remember the line exactly, but he's like, next time you have a chance to kill someone, take it. And then he shoots him, and he's like, yeah, thanks for the advice. Does that great Bruce Willis thing. So awesome. And it's such a great character moment here because given everything we know about what a pain in the ass John can be, this feels totally justified. If we didn't know what kind of person he was, this could be way too over the top or too mean-spirited or kind of like slasher movie-y almost. But John takes the dead body of this terrorist and throws him out the window, and it lands on Al Powell's car, and then he shoots the living hell out of Al Powell's car, and it finally gets Al Powell to realize, oh my God, something is really wrong at Nakatomi Plaza. And Bruce Willis caps off the scene with the oh-so-iconic, welcome to the party, pal. The helicopter catch from Superman the movie. This moment is just perfection. It's just absolute perfection. So all of Clark's life, he's been wondering who he is. He's been wondering where he came from. Why is he different? We finally see him learn that in the Fortress of Solitude, and then smash cut to several years later, he's now in Metropolis in the big city. And on his first night there, disaster strikes. And it's in this moment where he's able to step out for the first time as his true self. You know, he no longer has to hide his powers or play fair or contain himself. He just pops out in his bright red cape and soars up into the sky to catch Lois Lane from falling to her death. And I love the little nod to the comics with like the half phone booth where he can't quite change, so he runs across the street into this like revolving door, and on the way over he has that beautiful like shirt opening reveal that has not been done since. It hasn't even been close to replicated yet. It's all done so incredibly well. This movie is so masterfully crafted by Richard Donner. And the crowd's response after he catches her, it really captures that awe-inspiring, hopeful nature of Superman. Then the helicopter catch. It's just icing on the cake, but it's such a great showcase of Superman's power and strength without him having to like punch an alien in the face or something like that. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. And it holds up. Docking. Interstellar. This is my favorite example in any movie of the audience being told that a character is really, really good at something, and then that character having to be better at that something. Cooper is recruited to the mission because he's the best pilot. But up until this point, that's all we know. We know he had a bad crash, we know he's reckless, but we know he's the best. And when Dr. Mann, played by Matt Damon, betrays everyone and selfishly tries to take over the space station and blows the airlock, it sends the space station into this downward spiral towards the planet below and spinning out of control. So Cooper and Brand will be left adrift in space. They'll die. And they'll never complete the mission, which means all of this is for nothing. So Cooper does what's necessary. He does the impossible. He matches the spin of the spacecraft to the out-of-control space station to line up their docking ports and reattach and regain command of the space station. You guys, this scene is riveting. I am on the edge of my seat every single time I watch it. Tears in my eyes, knot in my throat. The visual effects are absolutely stunning. It's the best view of what outer space would look like on another planet I could possibly imagine. Obviously, I don't know what it looks like, but to me, this is what it looks like. And the miniatures are so beautifully done and so beautifully shot. The performances are so excellent. It's the highlight of the movie for me, and it never leaves me without full-body chills. But at number one, we've got the desert chase from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark is my all-time favorite movie ever made. So Indy had just discovered where the Ark was, and then it was taken by the bad guys. Can you say their name? Can you say that on here? We're just going to say the bad guys. Then he's locked in Snake Pit. Then he fights the mechanic. It's like the desert chase is the third act of this insane action set piece that's set in separate locations, each with their own set of extremely high stakes. Plus, it's Indiana Jones in a nutshell. When he says, "I'm making it up as I go," he is quite literally making it up as he goes. And we, the audience, feel that. That's why we're on the edge of the seat. When he jumps from the horse to the truck, it's because he's winging it. He's just doing what he thinks he has to do and doing what he thinks he can do to do the right thing, to get this powerful object away from these evil, evil people. Let's talk about the stunt work. Vic Armstrong is the unsung hero of Raiders. He was Harrison Ford's stunt double, and the guy is a madman. So this sequence, I wrote it down. Indy jumps from the horse to the truck. He climbs along the side of the truck. He tosses a bad guy out, and then he wrestles with the driver for control of the truck. Then he wins. Then he fights the other cars behind him. The machine gun, motorcycles, sends them flying off the road, flying off a mountain at one point. Then he has to deal with the other soldiers in the back, slinging them all over the place. And then he gets shot. And then a particularly tough soldier gains the upper hand, throws him through the front window, tries to smash him against the car ahead, but Indy manages to go under the truck and come out the back, being dragged behind by his whip. Then he climbs up the truck again, beats the living hell out of this soldier, and tosses him through the front window. And because the soldier isn't Indiana Jones, he can't repeat the same trick, so he gets run over. It's just a maximum overdrive scene shot entirely in camera, except for the truck going over the mountain, of course. And it's just breathtaking to watch. And it comes at such a low point for the character. He is so mad, and he's been outmatched at every turn, and he's just fed up. He's willing to do whatever it takes. I'm actually going to see it at the New Beverly Theater this weekend. Anytime this movie is showing in theaters, I will try my best to be there. So that's my list. I'd love to know your list. Any movies that leave you with a knot in your throat, tears in your eyes, and full body chills. It's like one of the reasons we go see movies, right? I love that feeling so much. This was an absolute blast, and I can't wait to do more of these top 10 movie moments. I'm especially excited about the horror genre. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.